Again, is everyone ready? The right to quality education on the basis of race is one of the surest safeguards against racial inequality in the United States. And for this reason, the right to a quality education has been established as a cherished constitutional right ever since the Supreme Court's 1954 decision in Brown versus the Board of Education. In many respects then, while exercising the First Amendment right to free speech, we have come here today in order to petition the local government to redress racial harassment, racial discrimination, and retaliation in the provision of public and charter school education in the city of Palmetto and the Manatee County School District. My name is Roderick Ford, and I am an attorney out of Tampa, Florida. I'm the executive director of the Methodist Law Center, which is a nonprofit legal organization that has chapters throughout the state of Florida, including Sarasota. We have been invited to Manatee County in order to protect the right to quality and equal education on behalf of dozens of African American students and parents in the city of Palmetto. The educational challenges faced by this community include the problem of low and inadequate academic standards and educational outcomes, and inadequate financial support and budgeting for the Lincoln Middle School in the city of Palmetto. In order to address these concerns, after undergoing a year-long process of meeting various qualifying standards, the Lincoln Memorial Academy, which is a private nonprofit charter school company founded and organized by Mr. Eddie Hundley, an African-American gentleman, was brought into the school district of Manatee County and granted a charter in order to run the Lincoln Middle School. The parents and students of the Lincoln Middle School were thoroughly vetted and gave overwhelming support and approval for the Lincoln Memorial Academy. We believe that from the very beginning of the school year, the 2018-2019 school year, that the school district of Manatee County both sabotaged and defaulted upon its financial disbursement obligations to the Lincoln Memorial Academy. These defaults caused the Lincoln Memorial Academy to make alternative financial arrangements in order to keep the charter school up and running. Now, these alternative financial arrangements were neither illegal or unconstitutional. In fact, we believe that the evidence in this case is going to show that the alternative financial arrangements that were taken by the Lincoln Memorial Academy were within normal, customary, and standard protocol for charter schools which routinely encounter financial management problems. In this case, the Lincoln Memorial Academy simply made alternative financial repayment arrangements with various vendors, including the water district of the city of Palmetto. These arrangements were put in place until such time as the school district of Manatee County would disperse the financial obligations which it was required to make. Again, the Lincoln Memorial Academy's financial arrangements were normal, customary, and within standard operating procedure. In addition, Florida law permits charter schools such as the Lincoln Memorial Academy to enter into what is called financial recovery plans in the event that it encounters financial challenges. The financial recovery plan, which is permitted under Florida law, allows charter schools and school boards to work together in the form of cooperative budget and strategic financial management, payment plans and workout arrangements with vendors and school board service providers, and timetables to achieve acceptable financial management objectives established under Florida law. However, and notwithstanding all of this, the school district of Manatee County, through voting to take over and rescind the charter of Lincoln Memorial Academy, has divested the Lincoln Memorial Academy of due process and procedural rights under the United States Constitution, as well as the right to engage in a financial recovery plan which is guaranteed under Florida law, and as a result has also violated Section 1983 of the Civil Rights Act. Nor has the District of Manatee County acknowledged its role in causing the Lincoln Memorial Academy's hardships from the very beginning. And we believe that the evidence in this case will reveal that the Lincoln Memorial Academy's financial hardships were caused not by Mr. Eddie Hundley or anyone on his staff, but rather these financial hardships were caused by the delayed monetary disbursements from the school district of Manatee County to the Lincoln Memorial Academy. In other words, but for these delayed financial disbursements by the school district to the Lincoln Memorial Academy, there would have been no serious financial problems to begin with in this case. For these reasons, the delayed financial disbursements caused the very problems and the very issues which the school district later relied upon to justify its emergency takeover of the Lincoln Memorial Academy. We believe that this emergency takeover was both unconstitutional and illegal. For this reason, on February 11, 2020, a federal lawsuit was filed in the United States District Court in the Middle District of Florida under the Civil Rights Act of 1866, Title IX of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. The fundamental basis of this litigation is racial discrimination in contracting when the school district of Manatee County improperly voted to terminate the charter of the Lincoln Memorial Academy. We believe that this vote should have never taken place and that the school district was obligated to apply a less drastic legal standard, a less drastic legal process under Florida's law called a financial recovery plan for charter schools. We believe that the school district failed to allow the Lincoln Memorial Academy to avail itself of rights under this financial recovery plan. The current litigation is being litigated in good faith. We want everyone to know that our objective is justice and reconciliation. Justice and reconciliation. We want justice and reconciliation for the people of the city of Palmetto, for the school district, for the parents, for the students, for the teachers, for everyone in this community. We believe that this must include, justice and reconciliation must include the reinstatement of LMA's charter. Again, justice and reconciliation must include the reinstatement of the charter for the Lincoln Memorial Academy. We also want the teachers who have been terminated to be reinstated with full back pay and any other remedies that the law requires. Thank you very much.
Who do you hold responsible directly for what you call the sabotage and the discrimination?
Well,
and why do you think that this went on?
Well, all of this will come out in the lawsuit. A lawsuit has been filed. We've obviously conducted a preliminary investigation as a preliminary precautionary measure in terms of filing the lawsuit. There are multiple players involved. Some of whom, some of the folks here standing next to me certainly know who they are, but we're not going to name specific people here today. We understand that some people may be more culpable and responsible than others, so for that reason, we're not going to provide any names here today at the press conference.
What would you tell the state about this, since the state backed up the findings by the school district?
Well, we think that there are two components. There are really three components to litigation. You have the law, and you got two versions of facts. We believe that what happened in the Division of Administrative Hearing, which is what you are referring to, a set of facts came forth looking at this case from a particular perspective based upon the laws and the administrative rules that were in place. We take the position that the law was not correctly applied in that case. And as a result, not all of the proper facts came out. There's also pending a motion with the First District Court of Appeals, requesting that the First District Court of Appeals will return the case back down to the Division of Administrative Hearings for a rehearing based upon facts, new facts that have come out since the old hearing.
What are some of those new facts?
Most of those new facts revolves around activities by the Water District of the City of Palmetto. That's part of the federal litigation. Again, we are in the process of conducting a further investigation into that. And again, those facts were not available at the time the first hearing were held, and we believe that once those facts come out, the Lincoln Memorial Academy will be completely exonerated.
Well, what does that have to do with the finding of the school district that the school was not on sound financial footing?
Well, the findings disregard certain procedural safeguards. We believe that even if that were true, Florida law's financial recovery plan would have allowed Lincoln Memorial Academy to take certain steps to come up to speed in accordance with law. And that's a part of the procedural due process violation in this case, which is why we have a federal lawsuit. We believe that the judge's findings, again, didn't take into account critical facts that weren't available at the time of the hearing, and also it didn't take into account certain procedural safeguards which Florida law requires.
You said that the reinstatement of LMA's charter was what you really wanted to get out of all of this. Would that include Mr. Hundley and the board back at the helm, or would that maybe be a different structure if that were to happen?
Well, we want justice, and we want what should have been done from the beginning, and I think justice requires that Mr. Hundley be placed back in the helm. In other words, we want to go back to the starting line with the way it was before the takeover, and of course that means all the teachers would return with the same salary, and Mr. Hundley would remain at the helm.
Does Mr. Hundley want to say anything?
Would you like to?
Sure.
I mean, just the fact that, this is your school, you started this school.
I would like to say first and foremost, thank you all for coming. It's my hopes that with all of you here that we have a level of accountability with the reporting that projects what we're here to say today and the facts. So I would like to start off by addressing your issue about the financial footing of the school. The first and most important thing that you must accept and realize is that financial issues, and we're not even asserting that those issues that they presented were factual. No one has any facts to support that. They were suggested, are still not grounds for an emergency takeover. An emergency takeover, it can only be executed if there is an immediate threat to the health and safety of students at the time of the vote, and there was no such threat. The only thing that they were able to suggest that even remotely rose to that level was the notion that our water was going to be cut off. We now know this to be fraudulent, and we are going to do what we need to do, and we're grateful for Attorney Ford leading us down that road to get this rectified. So any suggestions, questions in relation to financial issues, we are afforded the same rights as every other charter. I would also encourage you to perhaps go to the Manatee County website, go to finance, let's do some investigative reporting, go look at annual budgets, and when you do so, you'll find out that just last year, they report LMA 300,000 in the red, not these ridiculous numbers like 1.5 million. You haven't secured one piece of evidence to substantiate that, but it's been reported over and over. Also, you'll find other charter schools that were in the red, including one that was $1.4 million in the negative just this same year, and they were not subjected to the treatment that Lincoln was. So I'm more than happy to address that, but bear in mind and never forget, financial issues are not cause for immediate termination. So addressing that is kind of, it's not productive, because that's not what the case is here. This was an emergency takeover, as opposed to one that would have given us 90 days to show you ahead of time that those things weren't accurate.
Who do you have here supporting you, and what kind of support are you getting from the parents at
Well,
the school?
the beautiful thing about that is no one's here supporting me. These people are here supporting justice. They're here supporting children. They're here supporting the underserved and the underprivileged.
Right.
And as a collective group, this is what's known as the Manatee County Concerned Citizens for Justice, and they were born out of this injustice. These are people that don't have to worry about what's read in the paper. They know the facts, they've seen the data, they were at the school. So that's who this group is.
So was there insurance on the school at the time? Insurance.
Insurance.
Yes. I don't know. That's one of the things we heard.
Right, and I'm glad you stated that. You heard that. Two things. One, the insurance that was on the school was present. They didn't find it because they conducted an audit riddled with assumptions, and they never followed general accepted practices of accounting by checking those assurances to be true or not. But again, I would love to answer questions, but having insurance, not having insurance would be a problem for Lincoln Memorial Academy, the company, which Manatee County School has no jurisdiction over that. All of those financial questions, which the truth will come out about, I'm not concerned with, just like the suggestions by some of you that I've stolen millions of dollars, but I'm standing here before you today still 7 months later. So here's what I would ask you. Please not to discredit the facts in this case in the due process. We were supposed to be either given 90 days to address these issues before the kids were disrupted, before the school was taken over, before the decline of the climate there. That's why the statute says 90 days. What they did is exercise an emergency void of any emergencies.
Do you think the school was targeted because of your race?
I can say that we were targeted for financial reasons as well. I think that the comfort level of executing some of the things that were done here were because of our race and because they assumed that people such as these would not stand up for their community as they've been able to do things in the past without any recourse. So yes, I think race played a role in their willingness to do such, egregious things. And I'm just asking, I'm imploring you all to research that. The same way the judge cited the water bill as one of the most, I don't want to misquote him, but he cited the water bill as one of the biggest issues. Well, if we're showing you that the water bill was fraudulent, you should not allow Mitch Teitelbaum or anyone in the district to then say the water bill isn't a big deal. I mean, that we need some level reporting and some level support here. Find facts and then report.
What kind of things are leading you to believe that this was a race issue? What kind of stuff was said or done to make you think this was not about just the facts?
Well, if it were about the facts, you guys would be standing in front of Manatee County School Board right now. The fact is, you've reported that I've stolen money and you have no documentation or proof. Not even their audit suggests I stole money, but it's been reported over and over.
What about comparative organizations?
Right, I'm going to do that also, sir. Yes.
Investigations are going on.
I just want to finish this and then I'll answer. You've reported that we were 1.2 million in the red, and then they have to put their public reports on the website, and it shows we were $300,000 in the red. It also shows comparatively another charter school 1.4 million in the red. Same year, only difference is we were run by a group, a community of minority people that came together to get this school, and that other school perhaps is run by a large management organization. So I do feel, even more so than racial, that there's definite discrimination. And you can wrap it around whatever you like, but there was discriminatory treatment between us and the others. Sir.
Okay, so I think there were 4 investigations going against LMA or yourself.
I'm not aware of 4. Here again,
I don't know.
If you can't produce 4 investigations, then
Well, I guess it was the state and the federal.
That's against the school district.
no, that's not us.
That's the school
Yeah,
district.
there's no. The one investigation into alleged federal funds that was triggered by someone and then announced by Mr. Teitelbaum, but there was no documentation provided as a basis for why those accusations were made. And so I can't speak on that investigation because it's ongoing, but I'm very pleased to be able to stand here with you, and I'm sure reason would stand to say if I had stolen millions of dollars, we might be having this somewhere else.
And that was from federal education. Who was it? Who was doing that investigation?
I don't know. I didn't trigger that investigation, so
Have they asked questions or looked at documents?
months and months ago.
And who was it that asked?
It's ongoing. This is where I want to be brutally honest. I'm so grateful you all are here, but I'm hoping that my disappointment ends, because the same manner in which you're willing to ask me questions and I answer, I need the district held accountable. I need them not to be able to say, oh, you caught us with a fraudulent water bill. The water bill doesn't really matter. When you all know it was presented as a reason to vote on, you know it was presented in the DOA hearing, you know the judge cited it in his final ruling, but we allowed him to say that. My other concern and request is, let this be about what this is about. When you report this evening, please don't report it and then follow back, come behind it with a bunch of unvetted facts just spewed by these people. I challenge any of you, and you all have my number, find something that they accused us of that you have facts to support. Or, conversely, find something we've shared with you or given you documentation of that's not true. If you can do that, we're good, but I'm not worried about it because I know you cannot. So please, let's report facts, and let's let this be about what this is about. All right, there was some questions about complaints. There's a current ethics complaint that was filed, but it was not against us. I'll allow Mr. Jones to speak to that.
Okay, thank you.